Welcome back to Gooner Fanzine TV after a deserved but bitterly disappointing 1-1 draw with Leicester at the Emirates. I'm joined by Dan the Man Mountney, who's going to go through all the player ratings of the major players and key players in this game. I think we all know we're going to start with Eddie Nketiah. Obviously, he was on for 30 seconds, but what rating have you given Nketiah today?
Well, I'm sure I might have been you asked me after the City game how many players I'd given a 0 to, and my answer was Granit Xhaka, David Luiz, and now you can add Eddie Nketiah to that list. I couldn't give him anything else but a 0. It was an honest enough challenge, but it was so much naivety and maturity in it, and it was a deserved red card. But it's just leaving your team in the lurch. You just can't do that regardless of your age and maturity or whatever. You know, you've got to stay on the pitch in that situation. You've been brought on 4 minutes earlier to hold up the ball and help Arsenal see the game out, and then you just let the side down with a silly challenge like that. I do think, as I say, it was honest enough, and I don't think he was out to hurt the man, but you just can't make that kind of challenge, and it was an obvious red card. So yeah, a deserved 0.
Well, I think he's going to have a lot of time to think about that in terms of his maturity, because now he's out for the next 3 games. So realistically, he's got the last game of the season, and that's kind of all he's got looking forward to him. So yeah. I think it's a real shame that he made such a immature and naive effort. But you mentioned that he was brought on for hold-up play. The player that was subbed off for him to come on was Lacazette, who I thought his main goal for Arsenal was as a good hold-up player. So what did you give Lacazette today? Because I thought his game at that point was fine and he didn't need to come off.
I gave him a 6.5. I think he held the ball up well and linked nicely with Saka and Aubameyang, especially kind of midway and towards the end of that first half. But yeah, he just faded a little bit and just seems to be lacking that cutting edge in front of the goal. He's not taking chances he should. There was a header in the first half that he just needed to head down. I'm sure it would have gone in, but he got it straight to Schmeichel. And there was a similar one against Norwich as well, where the ball was played over. He just headed it straight at the goalkeeper. He's got plenty of work to do in front of the goal. He's not been good enough in front of the goal all season, to be honest, especially after the campaign he had last year. So yeah, plenty of room for improvement, but he's obviously got a big chance now with Nketiah suspended. He's got to take that chance. He's got to score goals and get Arsenal results, basically. So yeah, 6.5.
I don't know if you saw it, but there's one thing I did see from Lacazette today that made me absolutely love him again. Was as the ball had hit Aubameyang's foot, he already had his hands up shouting in celebration, because he knew as soon as it touched Aubameyang's foot, that was going in. And I thought
he would have looked like such a fool if he'd have missed that.
Well, I just thought it just shows such good teamwork that the joy they've got as a forward unit together shows that they are playing well together. But
could you imagine the stick he would have got for that?
Well, a player who was he had a bit of a game of 2 halves today was Dani Ceballos. First half, he was a beast. You know, where Jamie Redknapp was comparing him to Kevin De Bruyne with that ball and other such players. You know, Glenn in the other video said it was Bergkamp-esque. You know, I wouldn't go as far as that. It was a good performance from him. I thought he looked pretty good. But what did you rate Danny today?
Well, it was my man of the match. I gave him an 8.5. I thought in the first half he pulled the strings and dictated the tempo. As you say, the pass for the goal to kind of get the move going was superb. And there was another one he played where it just dropped out of the sky and he hit it on the volley, just like a good 45 yards across the pitch. Shows the talent he does have. I do think he faded in the second half, but for his first half performance alone, he was superb. So 8.5. As for his future, because I know that's probably what you're going to ask next, I'm not sure. I don't know. Depends on the price, really. But I think, you know, he's good enough to be in there and be in an Arsenal shirt. He's shown that in recent weeks. Just it's about consistency, really, isn't it? I think we've said that in the past. You know, he's got to do that on a more regular basis. So yeah, really good today, but need to see it more often if he is going to stay.
Well, because obviously, you know, he was only here on a loan deal, and I think he was unhappy under Emery because he didn't play very often. But now he's played almost every game under Arteta. He's looking like a very important linchpin to our team, which obviously I'm very worried about, because if he doesn't stay, then we've built our team around a position that we're going to have to then try and find someone to fill if he goes. Yeah. So it's a problematic situation, and I do hope that we can dig into our pockets and actually, you know, buy him or try and extend the loan deal a bit longer. But I mean, it's all up in the air at the moment. So very frustrating, but he did have a good game today. So you can add Burnley and Leicester to his good game performances.
And Newcastle. There was a good one against Newcastle. Don't leave that one out.
A player who has had a long list of utterly dreadful performances, but seemingly lockdown kind of got him in his right headspace, and he's now turned into an absolutely brilliant defender. Is Shkodran Mustafi? He had a great day, great game today.
Yeah, so did I. 7.5 I gave him. I think he's continuing to improve and he's continuing to impress, which is good. Yeah, he just seems a lot more composed, a lot more relaxed, and he's not making the mistakes that have cost Arsenal so much in the past. I do think the one thing with him though is that you never know when the mistake's going to happen. It's the same with Luiz. 1 minute he could be being really solid and not giving strikers any room, winning tackles, and then the next minute he could be passing it to the striker and giving up a goal. So yeah, if he can just keep the mistakes out of his game and he can keep going the way he is, because he keeps improving and getting better.
What really impressed me with Mustafi today is when he went for that header that went off and he landed on the floor badly. When he got up, you could actually see Vardy's stud marks on the side of his face, and the fact he was playing on with that, shows he's quite strong and he's gotten over the sort of the mental weakness that he used to have, and he's looking a lot better as a defender for us, which is a rare thing to say.
One thing I've just remembered, going back to Dani Ceballos, did you notice he was playing with a plastic retainer in his mouth?
I did not.
Yeah, he kept taking it out when there was breaks in play. I don't know how you play with that in, but fair play to him.
Sure, that gives him an extra half a point then, Dan, in his player ratings.
Even half a point for a plastic retainer.
A player that, Leno was our player of the season, and he saved us a huge amount of points in a lot of games. Martinez has come in, and he hasn't skipped a beat. He has been absolutely brilliant. And I think today he made a lot of very important saves in the first 15, 20 minutes of the first half, where if he wasn't there, I think we would have been in real danger. Even if we were rampant in the first half, without those saves, I think it's a very different scoreline. What did you rate Martinez today?
7.5. Again, really good performance. Lot of important saves, as you say. Commanded his box really well, which is something we've not necessarily seen from Arsenal goalkeepers for a very long time. He's happy to come and collect a cross, and his organisational skills seem really good as well. So yeah, he's excelled in Leno's absence. I think we were all a bit worried when Leno got injured, but yeah, he's done so well since he's come in. The only issue you may now have is that obviously being a second choice goalkeeper, you're going to have to be happy to sit on the bench, and after performances like that, I don't think he's necessarily going to be happy to sit on the bench, is he? So we'll wait and see what happens with him. But yeah, as long as he keeps doing well, he's giving himself more of a chance to become Arsenal's number one goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's a strange setup. You never think of a club as having two good goalkeepers. So now the idea we're actually got two competing after a period of less than desirable goalkeepers in Arsenal's history. It's quite nice to see we've got two good ones at the same time. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to ask you next is our favourite Clobber Watch moment where we talk about Mikel Arteta.
I mean, Clobber Watch gets a few ratings knocked down. He was absolutely drenched, wasn't he? So, yeah, I'll give him a 6, very basic tonight, nice little coat and whatnot. But yeah, in terms of his managerial skills, which are far more important, I'll give him a 7.5. I think the team selection was really good. Obviously, they set out to play, full on the front foot and quite attacking, which they did for the first half. I think the only concern is that they maybe lost control in the second half. But then I think after Nketiah's red card, he made some changes to the system. You could hear him on the touchline, talking to them, giving them instructions all the time. And I think that probably helped us get a point in the end rather than walking away with nothing. So, yeah, a 7.5 I'll give him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bold choice wearing chinos in wet weather. Very confused by that. But, that's Mikel's style. Can't fault him for that. But, I mean, this is, the Eddie substitution was probably the first misstep he's made in terms of subs. Not that it was his fault in the action, but
good to say that was very harsh.
But I think like you said, bringing on Maitland-Niles for Aubameyang and Willock for Saka, and bringing Torreira back as well was quite nice to see Torreira back. So I think all in all, I think his substitutions today were good. I think we survived that last 15 minutes with 10 men surprisingly well. I mean, if you compare it,
I think he's learned a lot from the Brighton game, hasn't he? Obviously. He made the subs a bit later on in that game, maybe got them wrong and ended up losing. I think he's, as it is for everyone at the moment at Arsenal, it's a learning curve. And I think, he's obviously got to learn quicker than most, but he's doing that and he's he's showing that he's picking up on the mistakes he's made and that the people around him are making, and he's trying to get them right. I think we would have been a lot more positive if it had been a win, but I think the positivity still got to be there. We're clearly going in the right direction, which is something that we couldn't have said, 6, 7, 8 months ago. I think there's a bright future ahead. Obviously there's going to be bumps in the road. There is for every team. I'll just say to people, try and keep positive. Really, there's not really a lot to be negative about at the moment, I don't think.
Not at all. As you know, in our previous player ratings, Dan would normally go through the entire team, but in great detail. Today we'll just list them off. Dan, what did you give David Luiz?
6.5.
Shea Kolasinac?
6. And I've still got a lot of reservations about him.
All right. Hector Bellerin?
6.5.
Kieran Tierney?
6.5.
Big man Granit Xhaka?
6.5.
Bukayo Saka?
7.5.
Improvement. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang?
7.5 as well.
Joe Willock?
5.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles?
Didn't give him a rating because he came on so late. I didn't think that was particularly fair. And I gave Torreira a 5.
And Lucas Torreira a 5. Well,
yeah.
Dan's full article with the player ratings and what he had to say about all the players will be on onlinegooner.com. But let us know down in the comments down below what your player ratings were and what you think of the performance today after disappointing, but I still think a well-deserved 1-1 draw against a top 4 team.